I cheated on my boyfriend. Then I found out who he was cheating with. I cheated on my boyfriend. Then I found out who he was cheating with. I wouldn't say my relationship was broken. That's what scares me now. We have been together 4 years, long enough that people stopped asking questions. Long enough that our lives fit together neatly. Same grocery store, same couch dent, same quiet evenings scrolling on our phones next to each other. We didn't fight, we didn't argue, we just existed. I used to tell myself that meant we were stable. Then a new guy started at work. He wasn't flashy, not loud, not the kind of guy who demanded attention. What made him dangerous was how effortless he was. Calm, observant. He noticed things, small things. How I took my coffee. When I was tired, when I was bored, especially when I was bored. At first, it was just conversation. The kind that made the workday feel shorter. He asked questions and actually waited for the answers. When he smiled, it felt like it was just for me. I didn't plan to cheat. I told myself it was harmless, just a crush. Just attention I hadn't felt in a long time. But the way he looked at me made me feel awake again. Interesting. Desired. One night after work, we stayed late talking. The office was quiet. The city lights outside the windows blurred into something soft and unreal. When it happened, it didn't feel reckless. It felt inevitable. Afterward, guilt hit me hard. I remember sitting in my car, hands on the steering wheel, trying to calm my breathing. I told myself it was a mistake. A one-time thing. I avoided him for days. But then he smiled at me again. Said my name like it mattered. And suddenly the guilt was tangled up with excitement. With him, I felt different. Lighter. Wanted. With my boyfriend, I felt predictable. I started thinking about confessing. About doing the right thing. But before I could, something strange happened. My boyfriend started changing. He became more secretive. Stayed out later. Took longer getting ready. His phone was always face down. When I asked questions, his answers were vague but confident, like he'd rehearsed them. At first, I thought I was projecting. After all, I was cheating. So I waited, and watched. Then one night, he said, "I'm going out with a friend." No name, no details. Something inside me snapped. I followed him. He drove across town, into a part of the city we never went to. He parked outside a hotel. My chest tightened so hard it hurt. I sat there, staring at the building, my mind racing. I wanted to be wrong. I needed to be wrong. I wasn't. I went inside. One night, when I opened the hotel room door, I searched his username on another app, not really expecting my boyfriend wasn't alone. He was with him, the same man, the one from work, from just the one who had made me feel alive again. Cut off his toxic ex, none of us focusing on healing and then I noticed something I hadn't before. The photo was not clearly betrayal, but the comments were full of women flirting with him. The way my boyfriend and he replied to some of them. The way the other man spoke, he laughed and said it was old, like he was used to being listened to. When I showed him the timestamp, this wasn't just cheating. He accused me of invading his privacy, something deliberate, controlling him. I laughed and acting just like his ex. Not because it was funny, but because I was so used to being blamed that for a moment, too cruel, I almost believed him. I walked out without saying a word. Later, I got a message from someone I didn't recognize. No shouting, no confessions. It was short and uncomfortable. Just a slow collapse of something that had already been hollow. But are you dating Evan? Weeks later, I ran into him again. The one he smiled like nothing had happened. We talked. That's when I realized the truth. The love bombing. He hadn't just been control disguised as concern. He had been shaping disappearing acts. Offering the way every argument where there was somehow became about control, where there was insecurity. She sent screenshots showing that while he was telling me I was the only one, craving. He was telling her he was confused, telling another girl he was single, and keeping multiple women emotionally invested at the same time. When I confronted him with all of it, he didn't deny it. He broke down crying, saying he was broken, that he had trauma, that he never meant to hurt anyone. Then he said something that finally snapped me out of it. "If you leave, you're just like everyone else who abandoned me." That's when I realized he didn't love me. He loved being needed. He loved control. He loved playing the victim. I ended it. The aftermath was almost worse. Within days, he was posting vague quotes about betrayal and healing. He started telling people I was toxic and manipulative. Within a month, he had a new girlfriend, posting her constantly and talking about how happy he was. He never posted me like that. She looked exactly like I did when I met him, convinced she'd found something special. I didn't reach out to warn her. Not because I didn't care, but because I know how convincing he can be. When you're in the love bombing phase, you don't listen to warnings. You think you're different, The scariest part of all of this is how normal he seemed. Toxic people don't show up as villains. They show up as everything you've been waiting for. And by the time the mask slips, you're already emotionally attached.